Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Welcome back to the show!
Welcome back to the show!
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong, Nick Bull.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan, for the fan. Of course, I'm your host, Never Wrong, Nick Bull. Just joined you guys late last night for a special review of Money in the Bank, but we're moving on now to regularly scheduled programming, and we've got your episode for you, episode 198. It's never too late on Card Subject to Change podcast. Thank you for finding us. Like, follow, share, subscribe, leave us a review. Let us know what you think. Always reach out to us. You got questions about wrestling or just want to talk about wrestling, reach out, hit us up. Like I said, I am Never Wrong, Nick Bull. I am joined by my tag team partner. He is one half of the reigning, defending tag team champions of the For Frequency's Sake Network. He is the one. He is the only. He is the Wizard CZ. Wiz, how you doing, bud?
Man, I'm doing good. I feel good. I'm a little tired, but that's because we burned the midnight oil last night, and I was up at 7. Got a little bit more sleep after that, but not much.
I was not up at 7. I slept in later, and I even got a nap this afternoon. But I'm needless to say, I feel great. I feel refreshed after the weekend. Great day of wrestling yesterday with those events, and I know
Absolutely.
there was various independent events, last night going on around the area as well. But yeah,
Nick,
I'm a little wrestling hungover, but I'm okay.
That's okay. A couple things of business before we get into the show. Nick, you got a little fly buzzing over your head. Oh wait, no, that's the QR code for the For Frequency's Sake Toys for Tots sign up league. So if you play fantasy football, you want to donate to a good cause. I don't think you're going to get it, Nick.
No, I'm not. I'm not. It's on the screen. I can't. It's in between. It's in between me and you.
It is. I can't reach it. So. But no, that is the QR code if you want to sign up for our For Fantasy's Sake Toys for Tots Fantasy Football League. Of course, we are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. I'm excited because this gentleman we've known for a while. We've watched him go from security to ref to wrestler, and I'm excited to hear his story. We're going to bring him in here right now. Please welcome into the studio one Mason Grayskull. Mason, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great. Mason, glad you're here. I love having first-time guests in here because we love hearing people's stories, not only just about the pro wrestling journey, but the fandom, obviously, because we're pro wrestling fans. So I'm going to ask you what I ask every other single first-time guest. Why pro wrestling? What was it that got you hooked as a fan and kept you coming back?
I loved it, man. I think I discovered it about 10 years old, and I'm giving away my age here, but I'm always the same age as WrestleMania. So around WrestleMania 10, I discovered it, and I just kind of grew up in a bit of a little insane household, in there, and that was always kind of a release to me. It's like you almost live a little vicariously through it, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I never stopped watching it, right? So I wasn't just like the kid who watched wrestling and stopped. It went into my 20s, went into my 30s. And I always wanted to do it. But problem being was when I got out of the house and I went off to college, I just started drinking. I started doing some other drugs and things like that. And I was very out of control with it until I got sober when I was 38. And so that's 3.5, close to 4 years ago, I got sober. I figured at that point, like, it's now or never. If I want to give this a go, if I want to give I'm not getting any younger. It's now or never. So I applied to Black and Brave. I had about 20 months that I had to wait before I started training, which gave me off a bunch of weight. Started at 280 pounds, about 35% body fat. I scaled all that off over a matter of about 15 months, and went in for training, and the rest is history. I'm almost a year into wrestling at this point.
Awesome. What was that big moment for you that made you say, okay, I've got to do this?
I was here. Like I made the decision. I lived in California for most of my life, and I made the decision to move here. Like the price of real estate was going through the roof, and I had bought my house only like 6 years prior, but doubled in value. So I was like, I got to move somewhere where I can just like buy a house and be done with the mortgage. And I was looking at different areas. I just had a lot of homes that could become rentals, like 80 grand, 100 grand. Like you could put money into, turn into a rental. So I was like, I think this is it. But the bonus was Black and Brave was right here. So, I mean, right. I live in Davenport. So buy it one day. And I literally walked into a class in the middle of it because I didn't know class was going on. And Seth goes, can I help you? I told him I want to talk about the school. He told me to come back at 2. I did talk to him and Merrick about the school and location, and 20 months later, I was in there doing it.
For sure. What was that prep work like for you? I know we can talk about day zero if you want. I know it's different for everybody, but we've heard plenty of stories about that first day in training. What was the prep work for you building up to getting into that training class?
So when I first did, I went and I got a membership at a CrossFit gym, personal trainer, and I got a nutritionist. And I made sure I followed that stuff religiously. I picked CrossFit on purpose because I knew Seth Rollins' school. I'm like, whatever is going to happen, going to revolve around CrossFit. And glad I did that. My guess was right with Seth Rollins being such a CrossFit advocate. And I just did as much as I could to prepare for it. There are some things kind of in hindsight I focused on a little bit. But I did what I thought was best, and it through it. So,
and of course,
let's talk about
talk
about as a 10-year-old fan, growing up as a kid, maybe still, who are some of those wrestlers that stuck out to you, guys that you went out of your way to watch, or guys that kept you coming back?
Oh man, that's got to be like my number 1 or my number 2 all time, and they switched, but it's like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were amazing to watch back.
So are you a Bret or Shawn guy?
Man, I'm both. I can't decide. I said maybe I lean a little bit more towards Shawn because he's got like a bigger body of work that I was able to continue watching up until, what was it, 07 or 09, something like that, when he retired.
Right.
But I mean, they were both so good. They both just kind of do anything, and everything was so natural with it. And that they could just dig about it and make it look great too. It didn't matter who it was.
Oh, they're both pros, man. They're both, they're forever tied with the Montreal Screwjob thing. But like, that's a question you always ask somebody: you a Bret guy or Shawn guy? If you're a wrestling fan, and CZ's the Shawn guy, I'm the Bret guy. But I know that Bret's the greatest in-ring competition, in-ring performer of all. Or Shawn's the greatest in-ring performer of all time. But I think Bret's the greatest technical of all time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for both of them, but definitely Shawn is where it's at for me. But no, that's a great answer. What are some of the moments that you remember growing up that really stuck out to you? What are some of the matches or the moments that really gravitated you in, that really drew you in?
Oh, drew me in. I'd have to say that very first ladder match, Rick Rowan and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10. That was great. Mm-hmm. And we've seen a lot more insane stuff happen in ladder matches since, but it was just like a great base, like foundation to go off to see what a ladder match could be, right? I remember a lot of flipping the channels because I was around for the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah,
and
For
TNT
sure. For
Attitude
sure.
Era. I remember being like, "Oh, Roslyn commercial. I'm gonna go over to TNT and see what's going on over there." That was a lot of fun, and to watch just how they came up with Stone Cold and The Rock and kind of Kurt Angle getting involved towards that was just a blast to see. Nothing in specific. I mean, there's some great there, but as far as like pulling me in, I think it's just the product overall. Because it was it had something to it. Like when I first started watching it, right? We could watch a match with like Bret and Owen Hart, whatnot, but we could also watch a match with Duke the Dumpster Droese and Doink the Clown. So it was like you kind of had that side, and then you had the more reality based side. So they both kind of had some, right?
And I like to think of wrestling as kind of a buffet. There's something there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you hit the nail right on the head. You've got a little bit of this, you got a little bit of that. What are some of the matches that you can go back and just watch religiously? Or even events? What's your favorite event to go back and watch?
One of my favorite events, because I was there, would be the match with Seth and Cody Rhodes a couple years back at Hell in a Cell in Chicago.
Yes. Yep.
And that was I was sitting floor. I was fairly close to Cody Rhodes, and that looked a lot more in person than it looked on TV. That pack was nasty, but they put on a hell of a match regardless. Some stuff like that, man. It's hard to think of. There's a great matches.
Oh yeah, I put you on the spot, so
yeah.
He's good for that. He's always doing that, man, putting people on the spot. But no, we're joined now by Mason Grayskull here on the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Of course, we're powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. So I'm going to ask you, what do you tell people, or what was Seth and Merrick's reaction when you walk in, tell them you want to wrestle, a little bit older probably than the average student?
Yeah, I think at the time I was in there, I was about 38, and I was 40 by the time I started class.
Sure.
So the first thing they told me was they almost just kind of brushed me off. They're like, just apply.
Right.
They told me where to go. I went online, applied, and then they accepted me and deposit, and I started getting to work. But obviously, you guys saw me before I'd even trained, so I ended up meeting up with Merrick at, I think, doing a fundraiser for like a kid. He might have had cancer or something at
a couple years ago. Yep.
Yeah, so I went in there and I donated, and I talked to Merrick. Hey, I'm going to be in your class next May, but do you mind if I come help with shows and just kind of learn whatever I can learn before I even start training? Like, I'd like to go in there with as much knowledge as I can. And he was happy to have me go here. So they started with kind of security, and a few months into it, Chris Angle couldn't make it to a show at Wildwood, and Merrick just turned to me and goes, "Hey, Will, you want to ref?" And I go, "I've never done it before." He goes, "You watched wrestling for a long time, right?" And that's how that started. So I started reffing, and it became a pretty regular thing. And then I was really grateful for it, though, because what ended up happening just SCW Pro. I ended up going to a few different promotions, reffing for Central Fire, reffing for Madhouse. There was a variety of promotions around here that I was able to referee for, which was a good thing. When I came out of wrestling school, I was able to kind of start with a small network. I didn't have to build it from scratch, right? I was already kind of working on it as a referee before training.
And that's one of the things, you